Hello, welcome to Gospel Faith Television UK. My name is Pastor Jimba Alex. As you can see, God is blessing me. The studio is changing. Everything is looking refreshing and enlightened. But the topic for today is global warming. Yeah, because on the news, in the media, every evening, all day long, they seem to be talking about tackling global warming, which is a good idea. The politicians are trying to tackle global warming all over the world. But as I was talking to God, I was asking God, what is this global warming all about? And God said to me, Pastor Jimba Alex, you know what? You are a world leader yourself. I said, God, me, I'm a world leader. God said, no, Pastor Jimba Alex, you are a world leader yourself. I saw God's fingers, very big. He said, Pastor Jimba Alex, you are a world leader yourself. I said, God, but the world leaders, they're talking about global warming. God said, no, Pastor Jimba Alex, you are a world leader yourself. That's what God said to me. He said, Pastor Jimba Alex, you are a world leader yourself. So I said, God, but what's going on with the global warming? And God said to me, Pastor Jimba Alex, there's no such thing as global warming. Wow, this is the Most High talking. I said, God, what, is global warming a scam? He said, Pastor Jimba Alex, let me tell you something here. There's no such thing as global warming. I said, God, can you explain to me? I'm your servant. I'm your son. Can you explain it to me? He said, Pastor Jimba Alex, listen. All the earthquakes and the wildfires that you see in this world, they come from him. And God said, all the earthquakes and the wildfires you see in the world today, this hasn't got nothing to do with global warming, because God said these things have been happening from ancient of days. So right from the beginning, when God created the world, to the first generations, to where we are today, there's been a history in between. And God said to me, no, it's okay. It's okay. Hold that computer screen there. Professional. And God said to me, right from the ancient of days to where the world is today, earthquakes and wildfires has been happening. And he's the one that does it. And I said, God, okay, that's fair enough. That's very fine. And God said to me, listen, nobody... Yeah, and God said to me that the wildfires and the earthquakes have been happening from ancient of days. So he said to me also that nobody can stop or control the earthquakes or the wildfire or the tornadoes, because it comes from him. He said he makes earthquakes happen when he feels like it. He brings the tornadoes to the world when he feels like it. And he brings the wildfires to the world when he feels like it. And I was reasoning with God, and God said to me also that a wildfire can start anywhere in the world. So he said that a wildfire can start anywhere in the world. That's what God said to me. He says, don't listen to these politicians. Because I said, God, I get confused myself. He said, no, don't listen to these politicians. A wildfire can start anywhere in the world. He said a wildfire is higher and more advanced than the term global warming. He also said to me that a wildfire is not started by a man. You know, some people come up with the concept, they say, oh, someone lit a match and they put petrol there. And when people were not looking, they put the fire and it started burning. And God said, no, I don't believe in these things are called hoaxes. Don't believe in hoaxes. That's what God said to me. They're fibs and fallacies. So he said, a wildfire is not started by mankind. God also said to me that man doesn't need, he said that wildfire doesn't need mankind's consent to start doing the damage. So I'll give you an example. A good example would be like, before you get on public transport, you need the bus driver's consent. As in, you show him an Oyster card or you show him a ticket and the driver will look. And when the driver looks, he's going to look to make sure it's not illegal. He's going to make sure to make it valid. He's going to look to make sure it's valid. He's going to look to make sure he didn't come through the window. Yeah, because you're seeking the driver's permission. But God is saying that wildfire doesn't seek a man's permission or consent before it does the damage. A wildfire does whatever it wants to do because this is beyond man. This ain't got nothing to do with global warming. And that's what God said. God said also that if the human beings of this world were to stop damaging the planet, then the wildfire will go away. So you know the politicians, they say things like, we're going to fight against the global warming. There's some things we have to, they become scientific and this and that. God said, no. That's not the answer. God said that if human beings were to stop damaging the planet, then the wildfire will go away. You know the politicians, they talk about it's okay. So you know the politicians, they talk about global warming and wildfire. But they don't talk about how the global warming comes about. How? How does it come about? And they don't talk about how they're going to be able to stop this global warming. So they're still looking for solutions. And I was asking God, but how are they going to stop the global warming? And God started laughing. When God laughs, he laughs for long, you know. Like me, when I laugh, it takes about a couple of seconds. When God laughs, I asked God, yeah, how are they going to stop this global warming? And God, he took his beard, he started laughing. He said, Pastor Jim Alex. And I said, God, no, I'm just asking you a question. How are they going to stop the global warming? God started laughing again. Yeah, and he did it. Yeah. And God said, you know what God was laughing? Because God said, yeah, are they going to stop the global warming with their hands? He said these politicians, they wear suits and they put on ties and they pull it to the neck like in the mirror. They're doing this in the mirror. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to look good or whatever. They're trying to persuade the people and they're doing and God said, they're doing this in the mirror. Yeah. They're trying to look smart. Yeah. And God said, I laughing again. And he said, yeah, but how are they going to stop that? They're going to stop the wildfire with their hands. So there's going to be a lot of politicians inside the wildfire. Yeah, and they're blowing it like this. And one of them is doing and they're going to stop the world. And one doesn't have a fan in his hand and he's doing this, yeah. And they're putting out the world, and he's talking to the camera. He said, no. I'm doing my job, yeah. I'm putting out the wildfire. This is nonsense. Yeah. So God said, how are they going to stop the wildfire? They're going to stop with their hands. And how can man stop a wildfire that is coming from God? Because the wildfire is not coming from a man. If the wildfire is coming from a man, you could say, okay, this man, he done this, yeah, before it gets out of hand, yeah, let me stop it. No. The wildfire, we don't know how it's going to start. We don't know where it's going to come from. It's not coming from a man. It's coming from God. So God is bigger than the global warming. Don't come and tell me you're looking for solutions around the world. Because I'm a world leader myself. Pastor Jimbo Alex is a world leader. And you're watching Gospel Faith Television UK. Pastor Jimbo Alex is a world leader. Is man capable of stopping God from doing what he wants to do? Cameraman, I'm asking you that question. Is man capable of stopping God from doing what he wants to do?
No.
Right. So when the politicians are saying, we're going to find a solution to stop this global warming, this and that, you're saying you're stopping God from doing what he wants to do. Can't stop an earthquake. What are you going to do to stop an earthquake? You're going to put traffic lights there. And then it goes to the yellow, and from yellow it goes to red, and you do the sure sign to the earthquake and the wildfire. Yellow warning, yeah, and then red. You can't do that. So what I'm saying is the wildfire is not an ordinary fire. Looking at that wildfire, the wildfire is a spiritual fire. It's just like that fire that burned Shadrach and Abednego in the Bible. That wasn't an ordinary fire. How many minutes we can? It wasn't an ordinary fire. So don't come and tell me about global warming. Listen, it's God that gave Pastor Jimbo Alex Gospel Faith Television UK. And these things I'm talking to you about are revelations from God. This is the end of part 1. And I just want to say, I love you, God bless you, and I'll be doing part 2 shortly on the rebound. Peace. Yeah.